Welcome to Touch 5. It is Rugby World Cup final. South Africa against New Zealand. I got the Greek here, aka Jono, aka the Boogeyman, aka everything, and myself. So the Springbok team has
Boogeyman.
just came out. The Boogeyman. The Springbok team just came out. It is a 7-1 split. No scrum off on the bench. Nothing. No scrum off. I guess the question we all been asking is who's going to be replacing Faf if anything happens to Faf. The other question we have is Manu Lebok has been playing the whole World Cup, basically in all the tight games and even preseason games. He's not selected for this game. Andre Pollard is above him. So basically what we have to look at is what is the objective of Rassie Erasmus and Jacques Nienaber. Greek, what do you think? What do you think the Springbok coach is saying? What do you think of Manu Lebok not being selected? Um, and there's no problem on the bench. What is your thoughts? Because I'm going mental. I am in of the selection. 7-1 split. I'm in.
I don't know if you've noticed my previous nickname, or not previous, the one I just gave him now, Mr. Tassie. Now, for all our English-speaking people out there, it actually means little box, or bag. So I've always known that Rassie, or not always, ever since the 6-2 split, he mentioned that, teams can do a 7-1 split as well. I took note of that. I was like, yo, there's a couple of people also. I think the more surprising thing is that he's actually opting to go that way. You
In the
understand?
final.
And
In the
just
final.
in a final, yeah. So I'm looking back at Twickenham, the Twickenham game, because that's the last time we played them. You understand? I think they want to take a lot from that. Only problem is there is no Manu Lebok there. You understand? So they've gone back to experience in every possible way. If you look at the lineup, it is basically almost everybody that played 2019. Or a very consistent team on paper. So my surprise is really not the 7-1. I think it was more who's going to fill the key positions when needed. You understand? And then listening to the press conference this morning, Faf mentioned, I don't know if he was supposed to mention it, but he did. And this is what he said. He said that they've got Kwagga Smith there that can cover that 9 position. They've got Jesse Creel also that has been training, or maybe not training, but I think previous year. So I actually thought that they were going to go with Cheslin Colby also at 9 as a cover. You understand? But now him saying that they've got Kwagga there and Jesse Creel. And then also just saying that, they're not going into this final with what ifs. You cannot go into a final with what ifs. Whatever selection you make, you got to stick with it. You got to be not even 100%. You got to be 200% sure. Because win or lose, you can't look back and say, yeah, but we should have. And
I'm just gonna say one of the tests Patrick Clerc, he got a concussion, and we all know like what type of player is. He'll run into collisions. As small as he is, he'll run into collisions. And one of the games, he actually came second best. Now, with us not having a covered 9, like even having a game plan, even having an execution, if something would happen with Patrick Clerc in the first 5 minutes, that can actually change the whole game, and it will unsettle a lot of things. So we need to hope and pray, like if there's any religious people out there, hope and pray that Patrick Clerc makes it out in the first 5 minutes, because it has happened before that he he was excused from the game
now,
because of a concussion. So
one thing they've asked him to do, to take a lot of pressure. It's going to be forward dominant. I think his responsibility is only going to be to pass the ball or to kick it.
Yeah.
No running, no
No
situation where
collision.
he can possibly, no collision, where he can possibly get injured. You understand? So looking from that point of view, if you're going to put Faf on, obviously we know Faf is a hard knocker. But I think this whole week, the preparation has all just been protecting him. You understand?
Yeah.
We know Pollard's game is going to be go forward, and then the kicking game. But I think Faf is going to be situated more strategically for receiving the balls and then kicking them back out, but not getting into the contact situation.
So I have a question for you. For a guy like Mani Leboeck that has been the first choice fly um, for the last couple of days, we know that probably Andre Pollard was, but Andre Pollard probably would have been the first choice fly if Mani Leboeck would have come in. What do you think a guy like Mani Leboeck would be feeling? I know it's not an individual game. I know it's a team game. It's for the World Cup. It's a different scenario. But I mean, what do you think a guy like Mane Leboeck would be feeling right now? Not to even be part of the 23-man squad.
Look here, once again, I'm going to say it on a live uh, feed podcast. Tassie has got a bag full of tricks. He probably knows something within the rules that if something does happen to either Faf or Pollard, which, would, let's just say if something happens to Pollard, let's forget about Mani Leboeck and forget about Faf. I'll get back to that point now. I think he's got something up his sleeve where if Willems has to come in and cover 10, you understand that maybe he's got a trick, where Leboeck will probably have to come in. We've seen the last couple of weeks the changes that Rassie has made, which to us were unconventional. We didn't even know what was happening. But the man clearly knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah, but
So
like
from that point of view,
Mane Leboeck can't be on Mane Leboeck can't be on the field. Uh, it must they start. Like you can only come in if anything happens to any of the backline players, or if
that's what I mean.
anything happened to Pollard or
Also,
happened to
you
Willem.
know,
Willem.
in rugby, the coaches have made calls which, that's what I'm saying. Rassie or Tassi probably has got something up his sleeve.
But my question
We
to
don't
you
know.
was my question to you was how would a guy like Mani feel? I understand that Rassi
Yeah, but
has
that's why
things up
I
his
was
sleeve.
coming back to that.
No, no,
I was coming back to that
okay.
with the Pollard situation, or with the Rassie having maybe something up his sleeve. But to get back to that, that level of rugby requires maturity. Um, yeah, I can say that, but as a player, you will still feel
Faces
you've
off.
been there.
Ik kan niet helpen. Ik kan niet helpen van je facing.
So yeah, for me, I can say, to play in that level, you must have some level of maturity within the game. But personally, you will feel attack. You understand? You've been the choice fly half thus far. So obviously, in your mind, there was, let's say, at least a 60% chance that you'll play in the finals. You understand? Now to be completely taken out, that is the major issue for me. You understand?
Why would that be the major issue for you?
Well, if the man brought you know the man's talent. You've seen what the man can do. You understand? And if you say against England, the man didn't have such a bad game, that's why you took him off. At least put the man on the bench. But then again,
Uh,
if the plan was from the beginning to have your 7-1 split,
with the noise at the back.
my noise. Oh, that's Shangi.
Yeah,
So yeah,
put your mic off. Okay, use mic off.
so maybe this was a a plan from Rassie, just before when he did his 6-2 split. Maybe his plan was already, if we are going to reach the finals, gents, this is the plan that we're going to have. You understand? We're going to do a 7-1 split. Maybe he had a discussion with Leboeck after or before that game, or even before, you understand? Saying, because you can't just exclude a player from a final that has been there without proper talking to him. You understand? So maybe the discussions were there before the semi-final game. We don't know. We'll only know once if Mane writes a book about his exclusion from a Rugby World Cup final and then playing every pool stage game. You understand? There we will
So,
get the truth. Or if Mane comes out and says whatever.
so my,
But
my
for
thing is
now, I would.
my thing is just like, I'm gonna be open and honest with you. Like, I think it's a really tough one for Mani Leboeck. Like,
No, definitely it is.
I understand the fact that, with a guy like Rassie, we like, as a nation in South Africa, we back Rassie. But I think, like, there's a lot of people in South Africa that come from communities like Mani Leboeck that
Yeah.
sees
And
a
you're
fly
excluding
half
that now
of
from
color,
him.
for the first time. It's something I've heard of. It's like, having a black captain in South Africa. And I don't want to make this a race thing, but like, with Mane Leboeck coming through the system and, being rejected by this team and that team, by the Sharks, by the Bulls, and finally found his place at the Stormers, and then also fighting through diversity and fighting through a lot of abuse that he has been getting from even South Africans, like the abuse that he's getting. And for him not to be selected in the final, it's almost like those critics that were sitting there at
Yeah,
the
but
back
that's what
and
I'm
talking
saying.
trash
That's the
about
only
Mani Leboeck.
for me. That's the only
Like,
concern. If they would have put him in the
that's
match
like
23, would have been
for
different.
me that's
But now to
for me
exclude him,
that's just like proving the fact that, what, these people that has been talking so much bad things about Mani Leboeck, um, like, it's almost like they're saying, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
you were right.
And I
So,
can
like,
tell you,
he's
there's
the
a lot of
guy,
people.
Mani
There's a lot
Leboeck.
of people that celebrating that Mane is not in the
Oh,
finals.
South
There's a lot
African
of
I'm
people
gonna
supporters.
that
I'm gonna add
celebrating.
on to that soon.
There's a lot of people that celebrating the fact that
So,
he's not in the finals now.
for
And
me, it's like,
mind you, there's a lot of South
sad.
Africans. The sad thing is, it's South Africans that are happy about this.
Correct, correct. And they don't understand what value Manuel Bok has brought to our game. The rest of the world always talks about South Africa plays the most boring form of rugby. We're winning the World Cup, and people are going to look at South Africa and be like, that's the style of rugby we're playing. But for the last, like, 10 games, 8 games, we have been flourishing in scoring a lot more tries. We don't really focus on the penalties so much. Yes, the last game now against England, it was penalties because, you know what, the rain and all that stuff, the weather actually made the game a bit slower, kicking game was on. But the style of rugby we've been playing has been phenomenal because of a guy like Mani Leboeck. So for me, it's like, just the public in South Africa is so messed up. The public in South Africa is the problem why a lot of people of color is still supporting the All Blacks or any other team besides the Springboks because of racial slur and
I'm gonna
because
add
of
on to
all these
this.
things. Like, it's disgusting. And for me, that's probably the reason why I feel sad. I already had one of my friends. He was like, "I'm gonna go buy myself an All Black jersey." It just, there's so much tension in South Africa, and yeah, I don't know. Like, I'll still support the Springboks. I still want us to win the World Cup. But some part of me is just like, it doesn't sit right with the whole money box exclusion. Manitelo, what do you say?
So this is something I want to add on to this, and I call it the Elton Jantjies effect. Now, Elton faced the same turmoil. There was a time when the Lions were dominant. Elton was probably the best fly half in
Correct.
the country,
Correct.
and Elton got so much hate as the second choice fly half. Oh, at that time he was starting as well because I think Andre was injured, but he got so much. Any mistake he'd make
Woo.
would obviously get tarnished. But then there's another element towards it. And that's a South Africa problem. That's not a global problem.
Yeah,
And now, since that's the case, the global stage doesn't see it or doesn't even know that even exists.
yeah.
They're just looking at rugby, So it's kind of a tough one, right?
So you're
Because
breaking up.
Rassie is obviously making a decision which suits the team, which is a logical decision as well. And we do trust Rassie 100%. But Mani's inclusion does affect a minority of parts of the world, which, in the grand scheme of things, it's the tough reality, but the world moves on. That's what I say.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know about you guys, but like for me, it was just like that was a cutthroat decision. Um, like I said, we back the Rassie. I mean, I'm sure that everybody watching, like, we're not saying like we're not backing Rassie. We're not saying that Man Book is better than Pollard. They're two different types of rugby players, like two different types of rugby players. But I think my question to you guys is this: we know that the All Blacks can come out gun blazing. They can score. They can score three tries in the match of like 20 minutes. Like it doesn't matter if it's a World Cup or not. Like these guys, when they are on the front foot, they will just dominate. Do you think that South Africa, with the likes of Pollard, can get us to come back and score two or three tries to win the game in the last 20 minutes?
So I'll jump onto this first, Greek. You see, we got to I understand, and obviously we also got to now put, except for just Pollard, we also got to look at the style and the split as well. That plays a factor. One, we've got 7 forwards in the bench, right, which will probably play a huge part in those last 20 minutes because of the way we play. Pollard will be used as a penalty count, a penalty gauge, meaning that he's going for kicks on the ball and he's going wide, getting our forwards to scrum or to line out more and then get over the try line. So looking at the past, we have done it before with Pollard, and I think the environment is so big. The World Cup final is so big that every player knows they have to step up to a level beyond.
Yeah.
So we can't use the past or style play and make it the future. Pollard can get the job done. He's done it before. It's just that unfortunately there's other factors towards it.
I mean, the fact that
Greek?
Kobus Reina is not in the match 23. I had a conversation with one of the coaches in South Africa. He coaches one of the Varsity Cup teams, and he said, "Don't be surprised if Reina is not even going to play." And I thought I thought, you know what? I should trust him. He's a coach. He's the head coach of one of the Varsity Cup teams. But I didn't believe that we were not going to have a scrum up. I thought maybe Grant Williams would have come in, or Jaden Hendricks, because Jaden Hendricks box kicking. His box kicking, Jaden Hendricks box kicking is much better than any of the scrum off that's there currently right now. Like I think a lot of us are unsmet, cosmet, but I think for me it's like a lot of things doesn't fit well. Um, but I hear what you guys are saying. I hear that you guys are saying that Pollard, and with the 7-1 split, we'll get a penalty. But that means we have to accumulate penalties, right? So it means that we need to win a turnover in our 22. We need to win a scrum penalty in our 22. The question is, can we run from the 22? It needs to be. We are 6 points behind. In the 22, we have a flaws like 100 Pollard. We know that does not really put the same so much under pressure because of how he handles the ball, how he attacks. Do you think that we can attack from our 22 with a likes of 100
Yeah,
Pollard?
yeah.
Well, Greek,
If
Can I
you've
take
looked,
this one
if
quickly?
you look at Andre Pollard before his injury, and then even when he returned for Leicester, yeah, yo, I mean, I don't know if there's something about just laying off something. Because for that couple of months he was off. When he came back, the line breaks or the line speed he got the ball from and the breaks was actually quite. I was like, wow, okay, Pollard, you understand? So I think we opting with Pollard for that forward go ball, even in a difficult situation, where they're thinking probably Mani Libbok would be turned over quicker in that situation. Remember now, it's a full pack final situation, where Pollard has been. So they're probably going with experience and size. So once he gets the ball and there's too much pressure, they know he knows how to handle that pressure, and also because of his size. But from even outside of the 22 up, I've seen Pollard read the game very well. When to pass, and especially he's got Dialende next to him. They've played a lot of test matches together. You understand? And I think he's got a lot of trust in his back line as well.
Okay, Manitelo?
So I don't think
So,
I don't think he's going to be shy to let the ball spread out. Also, he knows it's only him and Willems as fly halves. You understand? So if he does get injured, Willems, or whatever part in the game, him or Faf gets injured, it's going to be not game over, but more difficult. So I think from both sides, for 9 and 10, it's just going to be a feeding game to the forwards. Get the penalty or get the forward go ball.
That's not what that's not the question again that I asked. I asked, we 6 points down. We need to run the ball. We need to spread it. We need to put the defense under pressure. What I'm saying is that, yeah, we can play the forwards, but 67 minutes or 78 minutes, players are tired. Mentally, we like it's been a very long World Cup. There's been 3 sets before the World Cup, 4, 5, 6, 6. The Rugby Championship plus the Argentina, Wales, and New Zealand game before the World Cup. There's been a lot of minutes. There's been a lot of times. This is a World Cup final. There's treasure. Can we run the ball with the likes of Andre Pollard? Manitelo, what do you think?
so I'm gonna put in. We're in our 22. Automatically, I'm thinking scrum. I mean, that's our new weapon that's formed now. That gets us out of the 22 in the quickest way instead of running it all the way through. So if we can get a scrum penalty, I mean, if you look at the All Black 1 and 3, they're very young and they're still new. And we are way more dominant than Ethan de Groot and the other prop as well. So we get a scrum, we get a penalty, we kick it into their 10, go for a line out maul, another penalty. It's how we play. It's how we get out of the 22 the quickest. And the only time I'd see Pollard involved in that scenario is literally just kicking the ball out for lineouts. We are not going to run it at all. It's not the way we're going to do it.
Not
We're only
not
going to run it at key areas of the
not
field.
not with a Pollard. Is that what you're saying? With a Pollard as a flyer, you only see him kicking the ball or passing the ball, but he will not be the person that will make a decision of putting pressure on the defense. Is that what you're saying?
So I'm viewing it from the current way in which we're playing and what would probably happen in that scenario,
Yeah.
not from a point of view of Pollard has to let it go.
Okay. So then,
Because if you do look at it's something that John has said. If you do look at Pollard when he was playing for Leicester, Pollard was running really well for Leicester, and they did very well in the English league. So Pollard does have that running ability, but our system will probably not take that out of him.
okay. So the inclusion of the only back on the bench, Billy LaRue. Why do you guys think Billy LaRue is there and not the likes of Kanya Kobus Reinach, um, Moody, or anyone else that's been called, or even a Esterhazen? Why do you guys think Billy LaRue is
Okay.
there?
So for me, again, experience. It's the same reason why the All Blacks want Bowden Barrett on the field all the time. His experience, his goal kicking, and what he brings to the team. Now, over the years, there's been a lot of talk about Billy LaRue, but if you look at a lot of games where Billy and Pollard plays together, Billy has always been the second fly half in the line. When Pollard, when we, let's say from a ruck, we distribute to the right, there's maybe 10 meters to the left. You check. And then we play back. Willie always comes in after, that quick ball. So he's the second fly half. I think for that as well, where he comes into the line and he's a second feeder to the forwards or whoever's on that side, from my point of view. Plus his experience, under high balls, he's kicking out, and stuff like that.
Manitelo?
So I was listening to an interesting podcast with Fati a while ago, and he said something very interesting. He said that Willie Leroux is the brains behind the Springbok system. He knows everything before it happens. If you see him in the last 5-10 minutes of a crucial game, he's the one speaking. He'll go to fly half. He'll cover fullback. He'll do a ton of things before it even happens. Not that experience, that brain power, and the person that knows that system over the years for so long, it's a logical decision. All right. We've got Damian Willems who can slot on maybe to 12, 13, pretty much anywhere on the field. And you bring in a Willie who's going to come in and just try control things, slow it down. If we need to make it faster, he knows when we need to make it faster. Willie plays a crucial role, and it's someone that I don't think we can leave out, especially someone with that kind of brain power in the system and experience as well.
I think if I can just tell you guys what I think, right? So my point of view is this: we know the areas of where 100 Pollard lacks, right? His kicking ability, 100 out of 100. We know that. Like, he can kick the shit out of a ball. Like, he's just 100 Pollard. You want someone to kick a ball over? He's basically our new Mornay State. You want someone to kick the ball over from the corner, match-winning game for the World Cup final? 100 Pollard will do that. Where Pollard lacks is his ability to find space before that he gets the ball. And I think what Manitelo was like saying, what Zach is saying now is like my Willie Leroux's comms. And like this is something that we've always hear. His communication is outstanding. And that is all like when pressure situations happen, Willie Leroux steps up, players are getting quiet. When tension happens, some players they tend to get quiet, some players tend to get more vocal. And that just comes with experience. I do think that Willie Leroux coming off the bench has been a lot more. He has made 2 or 3 mistakes within the first 5 minutes. He has made a lot of mistakes. He makes a knock on, or he makes a missed tackle, or he makes a bad decision. There's something that Willie does. It takes him a while to get into the game. So this is actually my question that I'm going to ask you guys. When do you think it is important for Willie Leroux to come on the field? Manitelo?
I'd say 25 minutes in, second half.
So
Left,
are you
25
saying
minutes left.
the last
So
15
about
minutes?
55, 55.
55.
Depending on how well the game's going for us.
Yeah. We have seen Rassie and Niaga making decisions, taking off Manu in the 50th minute, taking off Edwin Etzebeth just after halftime with Kobus Reiner during
Yeah, but
halftime.
now
Like,
he can
I mean,
only
they
come
But
were
then
in once
who
we
does
have
he
an
come in
injury.
for?
But he can only come in once we have an injury, once we have a serious injury. Because who you gonna shift around? You understand? Like they said, they've got Kwaga or they've got Jesse Kriel. So
but
the
but like
only
you
time
said,
he comes in is if there's a
I don't
crucial injury.
I don't think Jesse Kriel would end up at 9. The only person that I can think about that can get quicker down to the ground is just Colby. I think that's the only option they're thinking. They
Or,
probably say Jesse Krill
um,
just for the sake of
what
saying Jesse Krill and
sorry,
to mess up the fullback.
what I mentioned is what I mean is I heard Faf de Klerk saying that this morning that the 2 backup scrum halves that they have or looking at is Jesse Kriel and Kwagga Smith because of Kwagga's agility.
Jesse Creel. Yes. Yo.
You like saying
That
that?
is
Like,
I don't
good,
even know what to
Changi.
say there. I
That
don't,
man should get a medal.
yo,
That man should
Rassie.
get a medal.
yeah, but I'm just saying like for Fox to say that that's probably something that came from Rassie and yeah, but just go
Yeah,
say yeah,
no.
we have a backup scrum of
Obviously, for me,
Jesse Krill.
the obvious. But also remember, also remember, I think we forget that Cheslin Colby played fly half for Toulouse.
Yeah, no.
Vital
But
games. So
Cheslin,
Rassie's got a couple
but
of
he also can
sleeves
play
up
scrum
here.
half.
Yeah, but that's what yeah. So fly half, scrum half. So if Pollard or Damien can't make it, he knows he's got, and that's maybe what he's keeping from the media. You know, that Colby can also slot in there. We don't know. Maybe he's been practicing in those positions. We don't have footage of that. Tassie has got a lot of shit up his sleeves. In that Tassie there, there's a lot of shit there. I'm telling you. I'm not surprised if Rassie.
You know,
Manitello.
listening to this, I'm thinking, Jesus, what level of analysis does Rassie go into? I mean, I feel like if you were 10 or 9 years old and you played a lock and then you move to wing, Rassie goes all the way to, well, what position did you play when you were young? Lock. Okay, you can cover lock now. And you usually play wing when you're older. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like Rassie is, I mean, JC Creel going to scrum off. He must have played that when he was 10 years old or something like that.
Under
It's
eight,
crazy.
under eight,
But
under eight.
yeah, and yeah, and Rassi uses it. Okay, you've got experience. Yeah, but honestly, I
That's
feel
it.
that
Down does
let's.
Rassie. Down does Rassie.
That's true.
This
I
man's
can't. I
got
can't.
look here. I won't be surprised if by anything, you know, Willemse, with Willemse and Pollard there, that Cheslin Colby slots into 10, if needs be.
Yeah,
He's played
that's
10.
true. That's true. That's a possibility because Kobe can play 10 and he
Yeah,
can drop kick from 10 and he can do some crazy ass stuff from 10. That's why it's so hard to understand what's going to happen. I mean, who do you even put Willie in for? The only person I can see is Jesse Creel. And only because I'd put maybe a Damian Willemse to 13, you know. Oh,
Injuries.
so,
Two backline injuries will change the whole game. Two backline injuries. I'm just talking about two. This, it will. I'm telling you now.
look
So
here.
I know for a
We
fact. I know
talking
for a
now.
fact. Wait, wait,
Don't
wait,
you
wait,
guys
we'll
wait.
think that
put
I
Rassie
know
Smith,
for
has
a
I
thought
fact
guess.
that
this through?
I know for. Wait, wait, wait. I know for a fact that they make the selection already on Tuesday, right? The in-house selection happens on Tuesday, and then during this period of time with practices, these guys are swapping and changing every direction. So what I'm saying is, if we have two injuries, and they need to already be thinking about this, backline injuries, that means Quagga Smith will be out of contention of where he needs to be. I don't want to see a Quagga Smith on the wing. I want to see Quagga Smith in the midst of things. And if Quagga Smith loses his area of where he needs to be, he loses him. Quagga Smith is he is more dangerous around
Herschel,
around
Herschel,
around that area.
Herschel, Herschel. We thinking now with our small rugby brains. Rassie
That's true.
has thought,
I know it's more.
Rassie has thought, I have to have courage. I have to have courage that Rassie has thought this thing through with his rugby brain, brah. I'm
Just,
done. I'm
it's
done
only
thinking what
human.
Rassie.
Rassi's only human. Yeah, but it's
Yeah,
only human.
yeah, yeah.
Now,
But
man,
look
woo,
what that human has produced with the pre-results he's given us.
It's only human. It's only human.
Yeah,
we also got to bear in mind, money pretty much brought us all the way into the final
correct.
as a fly off.
But where's
So,
your
and
ass coming back
strategically,
from that now? We spoke about that
and
earlier.
yeah, no, I know. But I just want to add on to this. And strategically, Andre Pollard now can play a full 80 minutes, meaning that he's had enough time to build up. So,
Yeah, correct.
and I look at what you're saying with Rassi, right? Where Rassi is only human, yes, but Jono hit the nail on the head there, where he said Rassi has done some stuff that not many people have. And look at what he did with the Cheetahs, where he changed that whole team, that whole setup. He brought in Kabamba Flows, Jongi Nokwe, players that no one was looking at. And look what he did with them. And he did the same thing when he went to the Stormers, when he went to Ireland. I mean, come on, you know, how do we now say that from our rugby knowledge that a mistake could happen? Yes, a mistake could happen, but I think he's got the right cover for it. and strategically, the man is he's a bit of a rugby genius. I mean, we don't even look at Jocks
Yeah.
Nienaber as the coach. We say Rassie because we know the game.
Manitello, I gotta write quickly. Sorry, battery's gonna run out.
You can't, it wasn't locked out, eh? It wasn't locked out. You were just stop, but let the app run at the back.
Okay, so just the
Because
app in the back. Okay.
otherwise it won't load. Okay, so okay, guys, let me end it quickly and then we just stay online just for 2 minutes until it's loaded.
Yeah.
But let me just say this. Trevor Nkanye is playing. Trevor is playing. That guy hasn't played rugby for 2 weeks. And that guy is playing. So I knew he was gonna be playing in the final. So I just wanna leave this here
How
with you
can you
guys is
leave?
that
How can you leave Trevor Nyakani out, bro? How can you leave Trevor out?
Nah, Trevor.
you can't leave
There's a
Trevor
few
out.
things I need to
Look
say
here,
about
no.
Trevor here.
Everybody's talking about Ox now. Who paved the way for Ox? Trevor, bro.
Sure.
Trevor's been there next to Mbonambi the whole time. So maybe they arrested him. Look here, Rassie, Aitasia's got eye. This man is a genius, Shangi. He arrested Trevor Nyakani for 2 weeks, like you say, Herschel, just for this game. Fresh legs.
Uh-huh.
And not just him,
I
Probably,
say with Trevor, I'm worried about. Trevor is not a good scrummager in my point of view. The reason why I say that
What is
is
this guy
because
talking
Trevor
about?
can get carried by the loose head a lot. Trevor is not as good of a scrummager as people think he is.
You've lost the
He's
plot.
just
You've lost the plot.
he has styled his way into the right position.
You've lost the plot.
When you've got
Nah.
Ox, who's a strong scrummager.
I
Look at France. Look what's going on in France. Why is Trevor not killing it in France? There's a reason.
Okay, look, I don't want to undermine what you're saying, but every single time I see Ox, Trevor, and Bongi, when that three scrum up front, I've seen havoc. That's all I've seen havoc. So all I'm saying is that in the end of the day, having Vincent Koch do all the hard work and not being in the final, that's also really hard for these guys. But guys, like I said, let's see how this is gonna end. Let's see what's gonna happen. Maybe we'll have some smiles at the end and be like, Rassie, you are brilliant. Or maybe we're like, maybe Rassie, you should have changed something. You should have just not changed the winning recipe of keeping the 23 of last week and the week before.
Okay. I got it right now.
Yeah.
Okay, James.
Well done.
Hello.
And let's see what happens. Cheers, guys.